and bring into the programme Barbara Slavin, Distinguished Fellow at the Stimson Center. Barbara, pleasure to have you with us here in France 24 as always. The question on everyone's lips, I suppose, is can Iran and the US, in spite of their differences and in spite of that central issue of uranium enrichment, can they reach an accord, do you think? What's your sense of this?
Well, it's obviously not going to be easy. It depends on whether the Trump administration is willing to compromise and accept that Iran will insist on its right to enrich, even if it isn't actually enriching uranium for some period of time. We've seen a lot of contradictory statements coming out of administration officials about what the aim of these talks are, and they have to decide on what it is that they can declare victory over. If it's going to be demands about ballistic missiles or about domestic politics or about regional proxies, it's obviously not going to work. But if they want a narrow deal on the nuclear program that they can portray as better than what Obama got, I think that's eminently possible. I think the next few days will be key. The U.S. has amassed all these military assets in the region. Marco Rubio is going to Israel over the weekend, I believe. We will see if they will allow these technical talks to go on in Vienna that were mentioned by Iranian officials and others. That could be a good step if you bring the International Atomic Energy Agency into the conversation.
So bringing in the International Atomic Energy Agency could be key. What difference could that make, do you think?
Well, since the United States and Israel bombed Iran last summer, we've had no visibility into the status of the program, apart from satellite images, maybe some reports from agents on the ground. The IAEA will be able to see exactly what the situation is, what the condition of all these facilities really is, how the enriched uranium. Iran has 900 pounds of 60% enriched uranium sitting under rubble from the bomb sites. The IAEA will presumably be able to inspect that uranium, see if the canisters are intact. And once you have a good status report, then you can talk about how to reconfigure the program in a way that is less worrisome for proliferation.
In terms of the optics as we see them now, with the United States having amassed so much firepower in the region and that threat of more strikes coming up, it really looks like kind of trying to force Iran into something under duress. And it's the kind of tactic that if another superpower were to exercise that kind of operation, that kind of might, there'd be mighty criticism coming their way, and rightly so.
Well, I think there should be criticism of the United States. There was no reason for this military buildup now. There is no emergency. Iran is not threatening the United States. It is not enriching uranium at present. I mean, Donald Trump said that the program had been obliterated back in June. So what's the reason for this buildup? It's because Donald Trump has dug himself into a hole by promising the Iranian people that help was on the way when they were protesting their government. He didn't do anything at that time, but he did begin to amass all these assets in the region. And so I think he may be feeling like he has to do something in order to not look foolish. But to make a decision to go to war with Iran now would be highly irresponsible, in my view. And I hope that he is getting good advice from his military, that this would not be quick or easy and could bring really devastating consequences for the region and for American forces based there.
With Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner leading these negotiations, does the US have the right people in the right position there? What's your sense of that?
Well, I don't know who will be going to the technical talks in Vienna. I would hope that we have real experts on nuclear questions who are going to be participating, who can actually talk about what safeguards are needed to prevent proliferation. With all due respect to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, I don't think either of them would know a centrifuge if they saw one. So it's very important to bring technical experts in. You may remember when the nuclear deal was negotiated with Iran in 2015, it took hundreds of people from the United States, France, Britain, Germany, Russia, China, and Iran to put together a long and detailed agreement. Unfortunately, Donald Trump withdrew from that agreement in 2018, and we see the results today.
Barbara Slavin, we could say more and we could talk about so much more, but sadly time against us. And thank you for sharing your insight and analysis with us here in France 24. Always appreciated. Barbara Slavin, Distinguished Fellow at the Stimson Center. Thank you for being with us.
Sure. Thank you.